I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader TV, the network for innovators. Well, if you want to take those features on popular sites like Facebook and MySpace and apply it to your corporation, take it in the house basically, and let innovation flourish in a social network inside your company, I guess you can use BrightIdea. That's the idea behind this company, right, Matt?
Absolutely.
Matt is here to join me. He joins me. He's the CEO and the founder of BrightIdea, which is basically, what would you call it? An innovation platform.
Yeah, we're a white label innovation platform. We deliver it as software as a service, and large companies deploy our platform to stimulate innovation amongst their rank and file employees.
So when you say large companies, what's your sweet spot? Who do you target?
So we typically have been successful in the past in financial services, in pharmaceutical and high tech. So companies like Cisco, companies like AstraZeneca, companies like Merrill Lynch and UBS deploy our tool to harvest ideas from their employees about what they're going to do next.
And how much are they paying? What is your average? You've been around since 1999. So what's your average annual package?
Sure. So some companies start with a departmental deployment. You know, they might just do it in the marketing group, and that can be $25,000 to $50,000 per year. And then if you scale up to an enterprise deployment, you're looking at $250,000 to $500,000 per year in subscription fees.
And what do they get for that?
What they basically get is, as you mentioned, like a Facebook that they can put on their intranet, and people can create profiles and invite others to their network and message amongst each other. And a lot of companies offer that, but how we differentiate is that all that activity is tied to the innovation process or the innovation pipeline. So, for example, one of our customers, Experian, the big credit reporting agency, they have all these new products they're developing. They're developing 300 or 400 new products at any given point in time. And what we offer is a tracking system for all those projects that are going on, that people are working on. What are the financial projections? What's the launch date going to be? You know, tracking all the projects in the innovation pipeline, such that management can look at that and say, this is where our growth is coming from. And we can bring that to Wall Street and say, this is why we're a growth company.
How do you measure, when you go in and try to sell a company, how do you, I guess, how can they track their level of efficiency? I mean, you're trying to bring efficiency to the innovation process.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot like the early days of inventory and distribution systems. You know, the first thing people did was they started putting tracking numbers on all the boxes, and then they started seeing where the boxes were going and how they could move the boxes more efficiently. So we timestamp and give an ID to every idea. So if somebody puts an idea into the system, we stamp it, and it starts getting sent around the organization. We show where it's going, so management can look at that and they can say, typically we make a decision in 60 days, and we want to improve that by next year. So we want to improve our decision cycle time by next year. And
you've been able to say by tracking sort of the origin of that idea and the input, you're able to keep track of it. I mean, you're able to reduce that time?
You're able to manage the whole innovation process, so you know where your good ideas are coming from. You know who can recognize a good idea when they see it. You know if somebody over-projects their oh, this is going to be $50 million, and by the time it launches, it's just $5 million. So, once you start having data that you can look at, you can't manage what you don't measure. So once you have data, you can actually manage the innovation process. And I might add one thing is, there are a lot of companies out there like Google that have a huge portion of their share price tied up in future innovation.
Sure.
And yet their systems for tracking this are rudimentary, in terms of using spreadsheets or using just basic intranet web pages.
Sure. Who is your biggest competitor? Is it Salesforce?
Salesforce is a relatively new entrant in the field. They launched a product called Salesforce Ideas, which is primarily for collecting ideas from consumers. And frankly, they use it from a marketing perspective. Companies like Dell and IdeaStorm and Starbucks has a My Starbucks Idea. Frankly, I say to our prospects, if you're going to just use this for marketing and you're not going to follow through on the ideas, then we don't even want your business. You can go with Salesforce. Because we're more about the entire innovation process, end-to-end, tracking it. Of course, they don't offer that, so that's why we we differentiate there. But we basically are looking for the companies that are concerned about improving their innovation process, not these sort of flimsy, gimmicky marketing sites.
How are companies doing it today? Intel has a website that, they actually a lot of companies are using competitions for
Sure.
to find innovation.
Yep.
New innovations.
Intel has a cool software site. One of our customers, Cisco, has the Cisco iPrize. So some companies are experimenting with the contest model, where they say anyone who can hear our voice, give us your idea, and we'll give you a cash reward for that.
Did you work with Cisco then?
Yeah, we worked with Cisco.
I mean, with iPrize, with whatever that contest is.
Yep, we worked on the iPrize. It was powered by our WebStorm tool.
Okay.
And they gave away, I think they're announcing it another week or so, but they're giving away a $250,000 signing bonus and up to $10 million to develop your idea inside of Cisco. They're going to hire the people with the best ideas. So it's really interesting as companies look at the internet as a way to brainstorm.
Right.
They're saying, if you can get this much activity on Wikipedia, what if we try and change that activity
Sure.
to brainstorming? And I think companies are tinkering with some really powerful forces in terms of innovation.
And that's one of the big ways to do driving, sort of powering competitions for big companies like.
Yeah,
like
we
Cisco.
see ourselves as an infrastructure provider. So
Sure.
we advise a little bit on how to set these things up, but
Right.
we want to give the best tools possible for those contests. Or
what happens a couple of years? You've been around since '99. You're profitable. What happens to your company? Is there a big acquirer in store? And what kind of a company does that look like?
We fielded a couple acquisition offers, for sure, and we think the market is really ripe for SaaS right now, and we love where we are. We're able to grow at 200% year over year with no outside capital.
Revenue?
Yep. And so we're thrilled with our position in the marketplace, and companies recognizing that we're the best of breed provider for these innovation software solutions.
Okay. And when you fielded some acquirers, they were public companies?
Yeah, very well-known SaaS companies that were looking to fill out their portfolio in this space.
Who are those very well-known SaaS companies?
I'm not
that familiar.
I can't tell you that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a very cool idea, that's for sure. Anything that helps to encourages innovation, and that's
just
definitely
like Vader TV.
Just like Vader TV. So, thanks for stopping by, Matt.
Thank you, Bambi.
I've been speaking with Matt Greeley. He's the CEO and founder of BrightIdea. I'm Bambi Francisco.